Welcome back to the weekly analysis video. So it's Monday, November 18th. I did not do this yesterday, so I am completing it today. In last week's video, we started discussing the potential of a retrace. So with that said, we pointed out some potential levels of interest on the way down. The first thing we did was take a fib retracement from the bottom to the top, and we noticed that we had the 38.2 retracement level here in this area, 59.27, 50% at 58.88, and the market came through the 38.2, respected the 50% retracement and bounced a little from that. But what I want to do is see. So on the way down, I drew a box basically from 28 plus about 3 points, minus about 3 points, just for a range. So price did react from this 38.2 level, about 81 ticks, 20 points. But then traded right through it, and this is where at the 50% we saw more respect from price and not going below that. So let's remove that. We said we want to be cautious of a long. If longs start to get in here and they're wrong, it's going to fuel it down. So it did go down, and we are starting to trade below this 14 level, which this was a range, broke down below it, came right back to the top, retested it, and continued the rally. So I'm interested to see if price wants to continue down further to the bottom of this range, which is why I put this box here around 38.5. And then, of course, we have the 821 and 801. So on this, let's go hourly. Actually, I did it daily. So on the down move, we've had 2 strong days down. With a fib retracement there, we can see that price came back up to the 38.2 retracement level and rejected that pretty quick. This was today's high at 59.33. So if it stays below this and starts maybe breaking this, the previous day low, I think we could see a move lower. Potentially down to this 840 level. So I'm going to be watching for that. I'm interested to see if price is going to try to take out today's high, which tomorrow it'll be previous day high. So I think the 33 level is a good level to pay attention to. There's always a scenario where price reaches above it, maybe triggers some stops for enough fuel down to the downside again. So I'm definitely going to be watching that level. I'm watching the 14 level. Again, we came below it, retested it, sold off, broke through it. Now we're sitting on this 14.5 level. And the other thing I noticed on the way up, again, we went over this, very little volume between 40 and 75. So we came back down to the bottom of this volume profile here. And again, this was the 50% retracement on this up move, and we didn't trade below it. So if we do trade below it and we start to get some fuel, I think it could go quick. When we look at, well, let's do the 4-hour, because when we look at the dip below this value area low, and again, this is for the current month, we can see that there's volume here, but some of that volume here was traded in this area. So what I'm going to do is add a custom profile and apply it just to that bar. And I want to see how many contracts were traded, 128,000, where they were, because this is a decent amount of volume. Remember on the way up, and this, I believe it was overnight, but there just wasn't a ton of volume. So there's this volume here. If we subtract this from this side, we'd probably get, 3,000, 2,400. So on the way down, there was a lot of volume traded on this bar or this wick compared to the move up. And I think that's important to note, because what we may see is if price comes back down to this level, we'll see some support here in this area. And I may just want to draw it as a box, maybe a value area type of thing. And extend that. So now we know if price comes back down to this area, just to pay attention to the volume and see how price trades. But again, we had a down move. This is starting to look like a bear flag. I'll copy it. Something like that. So I think these are the levels to pay attention to for the next few days. 33 to the upside. See if we're going to push back up or if it's going to be rejected or respected for a move to the downside again. But again, I would say it's got to break this trend line, previous day low, and then see what happens in this area as well. So those are the levels I'm going to be looking at. Wish you the best and hope you have a good week trading.